Good morning. We still have some people coming in. I'll give them a couple seconds here. My name is Katie, and I'm serving as your service associate for this morning. We're so glad that you have joined us here in the hall and through your screen. In preparation for our service, please pull out your device and please turn off the ringer so that we can all enjoy this service uninterrupted. Welcome to the Edmonds Unitarian Universalist congregation. We are a pluralist community of seekers, humanists, theists, atheists, agnostics, and everything in between. We are committed to treating each other with compassion and respect, learning from one another and sharing our resources to build a more just world. We gather each week to connect, to wrestle with life's big questions, and to rededicate ourselves to living into our Unitarian Universalist values of justice, equity, generosity, pluralism, transformation, interdependence, and love. Whoever you are, wherever you come from, here and online, welcome. Whether this is your first Sunday with us or you've been here more Sundays than you could ever count, we're so grateful that you've chosen to be here this morning. Welcome, everyone. There is a welcome desk after the service for those of you interested in learning more about us. If you're online and wish to be connected, please go to our website at euuc.org and click on the tab that says, I'm new, and then click on What Are You Interested in? If you're here in Chapman Hall this morning, you're welcome to gather with us and socialize after the service. Today, we will be enjoying our monthly first Sunday lunch. Everyone is welcome. And after the service, if you're willing and able to help us convert Chapman Hall into a dining hall, your help would be greatly appreciated. Children are welcome for all parts of our service, and we remind ourselves that the noises they make are sacred and holy. We're so glad that you're here. And now, we open the service with our land acknowledgement. Let us remember that our congregational home, this site on which we are gathered this morning, is placed on the ancestral lands of the Snohomish people, who have inhabited this region of the Salish Sea since time immemorial, and who continue their livelihoods on these lands today. May we all live and learn humbly as allies to the Snohomish.
Good morning, everyone. Each week, we commit and complete a sign and signal of our faith tradition, Unitarian Universalism, by placing a flame in the bowl of this chalice. The symbol of the flaming chalice signifies the warmth of this community and the flame of our hope, which still burns brightly, even in the midst of challenging times. Our chalice lighting reading this morning comes from Reverend Deanna Van Diver, who writes, "We light this chalice, symbol of our faith alive in the world, naming our vision of collective liberation and daring to remember each other into beloved community." Now, let us say our affirmation. You can say it out loud, read along, listen to the group reading, or otherwise participate as you wish. The words are projected on our screen. We need each other, and so we come to this place to work and dance and laugh and cry and think. We call ourselves a religious community, not because this place is in itself holy ground, but because what we do here, say here, and are here make it so. So let it be. I now invite you to rise in body or in spirit as you're comfortable doing so to join in our opening hymn. It's number 361 in the gray hymnal, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In, and the words will be projected up on our screen. And now, for our time for all ages this morning, I'm going to invite our children and youth and their grown-ups to join me over here on our special rainbow carpet for a story entitled I'll Hold Your Hand by Maggie C. Rudd, illustrated by Elisa Chavari. Come on over, everyone. Anyone else want to join me up here? Hi, friends. Wow, it's good to see you all this morning. Good morning. Okay, are we all settled? This story is called I'll Hold Your Hand by Maggie C. Rudd, illustrated by Elisa Chavari. I'll hold your hand. I'll hold your hand on the night you arrive when the whole world comes alive. When you're learning to crawl and you stumble and fall, I'll hold your hand. I'll hold your hand when new things are scary or monsters too hairy. That is a raccoon, that's true. I think they're pretty cute, though. When thunder is clashing and lightning is flashing, I'll hold your hand. I'll hold your hand when you walk, then you run, and the fun's just begun. When waves are crashing or puddles need splashing, I'll hold your hand. Does anyone here like splashing in puddles? Yeah, I see a couple hands. Me too, Lucy. I'll hold your hand when we look both ways or our bus gets delayed. On the first day of school, or when words can be cruel, I'll hold your hand. I'll hold your hand when good news is calling, or the first snow is falling. On your first night away, if you decide not to stay, I'll hold your hand. I'll hold your hand when the going gets tough and hugs aren't enough. They do have a cast, it's true. If love ever hurts you or words desert you, I'll hold your hand. I'll hold your hand when the days end too soon and we wait for the moon. When you're counting sheep and you're falling asleep, I'll hold your hand. Yeah, the kid's holding the parent's hand, it's true. I'll hold your hand in the winter or summer when goodbyes are a bummer. Sometimes it's hard to leave a party. I think it was a birthday party too. In the spring or the fall, when you're feeling small or for no reason at all, I'll hold your hand. And that's our story for today. Thank you all for joining me up here. It's so good to see you this morning. And now I'm going to invite everyone, big and small, to sing our children and youth out to their classes this morning. You all will be gathering out in the narthex. And when you have a moment, if you can say thank you to our fabulous religious educators and volunteers who make this program possible, we'd really appreciate it. Let's all sing together, Go Now in Peace.
Now for a moment's peace. If you will find a comfortable position, place your feet on the floor, relax your head and neck, soften your gaze or close your eyes, we will enter a time of quiet. And now, as we enter the quiet, and not the silence, breathe with these words to companion you. May solace come upon you, power rise within you, and peace settle upon your heart. May it be so.
Okay, so now we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to invite you all to remain seated for our next group song. It's titled Loosen, Loosen. I'm told that some of you all are familiar with this. Anyone here? See some hands? Okay, so those of you who are familiar with it, we're going to sing out. This is not a song that's in our hymnals, so we're going to have the words projected up here on the screen for you. Nick is going to provide our fabulous accompaniment. And we're going to sing the main chorus through twice, and then the bridge through twice, and then if we're feeling brave, we're going to try to maybe do some singing together of both of those things. But don't worry, I'll instruct you. So there'll be instruction. Just remain seated, remain calm. And let's sing Loosen, Loosen by Ali Halpert. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Again. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Holy breath and holy name. Will you ease this pain? Okay, so now we're going to sing Loosen, Loosen again. Baby. But if you want to sing Holy Breath underneath, you can. The weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. That was beautiful, thank you. Now I want to share a poem with you entitled Eschatology by the professor, poet, and artist Eve Ewing. Eve Ewing writes, I'm confident that the absolute dregs of possibility for this society, the sugary mound at the bottom of this cup, our last best hope that when our little bit of assigned plasma implodes, it won't go down as a green mark in the cosmic ledger, lies in the moment when you say hello to a bus driver and they say it back. When someone holds the door open for you and you do a little jog to meet them where they are. Walking my dog, I used to see this older man, and whenever I said, "Good morning," he replied, "Great morning." In fact, all the creative ways our people greet each other may be the icing on this flaming trash cake hurtling through the ether. When the clerk says, "How are you?" and I say, "I'm blessed and highly favored," I mean, my toes have met sand and wiggled in it a lot. I mean, I have laughed until I choked and a friend slapped my back. I mean, my niece wrote me a note saying, "You are so smart and intelligent." I mean, when we do go careening into the sun, I'll miss crossing guards, ushering the grown folks too, like ducklings, and the lifeguards at the community pool, and men who yelled out the window that they'd fix the dent in my car right now. It'd just take a second. And actually, everyone who tried to keep me alive, keep me afloat, and if not unblemished, been suitably repaired, but I won't feel too sad about it becoming a star. The words of Eve Ewing. Years ago, in the earliest days of my ministerial training, I worked as a chaplain intern for one summer in a large hospital in downtown Boston. In that job, I spent my days making rounds on several floors of the hospital, knocking gently on patients' doors to introduce myself to complete strangers and see if they wanted to talk. Some people had no interest in talking to me, which I completely understood. But others, even those who didn't identify as religious or spiritual, did. And so I listened. I was there to bear witness to the heartache and fear and hope that commingled in the patient rooms alongside IV drips and beeping machines and painfully fluorescent lighting. Learning from my patients as they were confronted with the greatest vulnerability of all, their own mortality, was transformative in my young adult life, and many of my patients' stories still come back to me in vivid memories over a decade later. Like the story of Linda, a woman in her mid-70s with bright silver hair and sparkling blue eyes, who I first met on the inpatient leukemia and lymphoma unit of the hospital. This particular unit was a short-term home for patients with acute cancer diagnoses. Because of the intensive nature of treatment in this unit, it was a place that was tightly knit. The medical team, particularly the amazing nurses and nursing assistants who were on the front lines of patient care, provided essential emotional support to their patients and to each other as they navigated the extreme ups and downs of their work. And the leukemia and lymphoma unit, more so than many other floors on the hospital, had a lot of visitors. Family and friends who would set up camp for hours in patient rooms, reading books out loud, playing card games, and shooting the breeze with loved ones. When I first walked into Linda's room that late July day, I was struck by the fact that it was quieter than the other rooms on the unit. There was, in Linda's room, no evidence of visitors, no greeting cards or floral bouquets, no non-hospital snacks that had been snuck in from the outside. When I introduced myself to her, she barely made eye contact with me, as she told me that she was not interested in talking. Thank you very much. I nodded in understanding, and before turning to leave, I said, "Let me know if you change your mind. I'm here." She nodded wordlessly in response as I made my way back out into the hall. A few days later, I was chatting with nurses in the hallway when I heard Linda's voice again, softly calling out from her nearby room. "Is that the chaplain?" she inquired tentatively. I popped my head into her room. "Yes, it's me. It's nice to see you again, Linda. Is there anything I can do for you?" A long pause followed. "Do you," Linda stammered, struggling to get the words out, "have time to talk now?" "Of course," I replied as I pulled up a chair to her bedside. "What's on your mind?" Once Linda started talking, she couldn't stop, and what had once been a formerly quiet hospital room was suddenly filled by the sound of her voice and her stories spilling out from all sides. She started at the beginning, telling me stories of growing up in Lynn, Massachusetts, an oceanfront town just north of Boston. She told me about her old house, blocks from the beach, about her 3 sisters, and about how sometimes they would sneak out of the house unbeknownst to their parents and take midnight dips in the ocean. But the simple joys of these moments with her sisters were counterbalanced by painful relationships with an abusive father and an emotionally absent mother. Much of Linda's childhood was characterized by fear and uncertainty and the feeling of walking on eggshells around those who were meant to take care of her. Once she became an adult, Linda was eager to leave her parents' house to forge a life free from the dysfunction of her childhood. After moving out of her childhood home, she began to drift away from her family, not only her parents, but also her sisters, becoming distant from the sisters she was once so close to. And so, years later, when Linda received her advanced leukemia diagnosis, she didn't reach out to the two sisters who were still living, even though they both still lived in the greater Boston area. Each day, she thought about calling them, about picking up the phone and bridging the gap that had grown wide between them after years of little communication. After she shared her story, Linda fell silent again, and I began to speak. Can I ask, Linda, why it is that you haven't called yet, even though you've been thinking about it? Is there something holding you back? Linda took a deep breath and looked into my eyes. I'm worried, she confessed, that they won't want to visit, that maybe they won't even answer my call. Tears started to roll down her cheeks. Oh, Linda, I replied as I squeezed her hand, I'm so sorry you feel that way. That's really hard. The truth is, you don't know how your sisters will react to your call, but you will also never know unless you try. They could disappoint you, but they could also surprise you. After more conversation, Linda decided that she was ready to try and call her sisters. And so, in a true act of courage, she picked up the phone and began to dial. And something amazing happened. Both sisters picked up on the first ring. Only a few hours later, after Linda had first picked up her phone, she received her first visitors in the hospital, her sisters. Their reunion was tearful and full of emotion. I'm so glad you called us, one said to her. Yes, replied the other. We really want to be here for you. And so they were, visiting regularly for the weeks that followed as Linda's cancer stopped responding to treatment and began to spread. And in the last moments before she died, Linda's sisters stood on either side of her hospital bed, holding her hands, just as they had done when they would run into the ocean together as little girls so many years earlier. Linda's willingness to open up to me and then to her sisters reminded me of just how hard it can be to ask for help, especially in moments when we need it most. Fear and pride and shame so often get in the way. Linda also had to contend with the challenges of her childhood adversity, of having learned from her parents at a young age that relationships were unpredictable and that people should not always be trusted. The echoes of these lessons reverberated, as they do for most trauma survivors, throughout the rest of Linda's life. But even though Linda did not survive her cancer, in those final weeks of her life, she did begin to heal in another kind of way, recovering from some of those early childhood wounds through renewed connection with her beloved sisters. Each week, that we gather here in Chapman Hall, we begin our service with our congregational affirmation. We need each other. And so we come to this place to work and dance and laugh and cry and think. We call ourselves a religious community, not because this place is in itself holy ground, but because what we do here and say here and are here make it so. So let it be. We say these words week after week because it can be an easy thing to forget. We need each other. It may sound simple, but I think this collective avowal is brave. It is an admission that as individual people, we are limited and finite. Most of us have been steeped in a US-American culture shaped by white supremacy and settler colonialism and capitalism that has taught us to focus only on ourselves. Many of us have absorbed lessons about rugged individualism from our media and our families and even our churches. But here, each week, we push back against those forces that work to isolate us. We need each other. Not we want each other, but we need each other. Saying we need each other is more existential. It's acknowledging that all of our existences are tied together in a single garment of destiny, as the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once wrote in a Birmingham jail. We depend on each other for survival. We need each other. In the Buddhist tradition, this idea of interdependence is sometimes referred to as dependent arising or dependent origination, meaning that nothing in the world can exist wholly unto itself. Has anyone heard of those categories before today? A couple students of Buddhism. So for example, from the Buddhist perspective of dependent origination, if we look long enough at a single piece of paper, we begin to see that the paper is not really paper at all. It's the factory workers who packaged the paper. It's the tree that once stood tall in the forest. And it's the sunshine and the rain that enabled that tree to grow. Human beings are the same way. We are sunshine and rain and the breath of ancestors who went before us. For good, for bad, and for the most part in between. We exist as we do because of others and because of the web of creation of which we are a part. In the hospital, Linda's dependent origination was evident in the way that her parents' trauma had shaped her own life story. Her dad's abusive behavior was learned from his own father, who struggled with anger and addiction, and passed those down to his son. The profound effect of growing up in an environment marked by intergenerational trauma informed much of the decisions that Linda made throughout her life, including her decision not to call her sisters until her cancer had advanced. But Linda's dependent origination was also evident in her need for her sisters at the end of her life and in the emotional healing that began once she gave them the opportunity to show up with tenderness and with love. Our dependence can make us vulnerable, but it can also be the greatest source of our healing. The Vietnamese Buddhist monk and peace activist Thich Nhat Hanh wrote extensively throughout his life about our inherent interdependence and about the challenges that we human beings sometimes face in acknowledging our need for connection. So many things conspire to separate us from each other and lead us to this illusion that we are not all connected to each other and to the earth. And so to try and counter those forces, Thich Nhat Hanh wrote the following 4 mantras. These mantras are meant to be read repeatedly in the presence of a loved one, and they go like this. The first mantra is, I am here for you. Hanh wrote, The greatest gift we can give others is our true presence. The second mantra is, I know you are there, and I am very happy. This mantra, he wrote, helps us to remember to be truly present to the other whose life is a miracle. The third mantra is, darling, I know you suffer. When you are mindful, you notice that the person you love suffers, and your presence alone has the ability to relieve a lot of their suffering. And finally, the fourth mantra, the one that Han wrote was the most difficult to say. I am suffering. Please help. Together, these mantras, not unlike the ones we say in our affirmation week after week, are reminders to our hearts and bodies of our deepest truths. I am here for you. I know you are there. Darling, I know you suffer. I too am suffering. Please help. We need each other. When we repeat these mantras, we're forging new neural pathways in our bodies and minds to help us remember more easily that we do not exist unto ourselves alone. We are both those who suffer and need help and those who offer our care. And from that perspective, service, the work of social justice and community care, is not really something we do on behalf of others, but rather it's something we do for ourselves, a central way we become more in touch with our own humanity and begin to heal our own wounds. And friends, in these unpredictable and scary times we're living in, there is no shortage of suffering and need on local and global scales. What does collective healing look like now in our traumatized, hurting, and inherently interconnected world? It begins, I think, with an acknowledgement of how interdependent we really are, and that we all, at various times in our lives, experience suffering. In her book, Pleasure Activism, the writer and activist Adrienne Marie Brown puts it this way. She writes, "What we need is a culture where the common experience of trauma leads to a normalization of healing. Being able to say, I have good reasons to be scared of the dark, of raised voices, of being swallowed up by love, of being alone, and being able to offer each other, I know a healer for you. I'll hold your hand in the dark." As Brown suggests here, only when suffering and pain are acknowledged can we ask for help and offer it. Here, in this EUUC community, we honor our interdependence in ways that are far more complex than just the reading of our weekly affirmation. If you look closely here, you will see care and healing moving in so many different directions. There's those who volunteer their time to cook breakfast for community members in need through our Neighbors in Need program. And in fact, today, following our service, everyone will be invited for the opportunity to stay and enjoy a lunch prepared by our Neighbors in Need program volunteers, so you can learn more about this special project in our community. And then there are people in our community who support immigrant justice, volunteering time and money to organizations like the Washington Immigrant Solidarity Network, which you'll learn more about in a few minutes, and is the recipient of our Sunday offering this month. We have members here at EUUC who support the Washington Immigrant Solidarity Network by helping monitor the actions of ICE in our local communities and helping to raise money to bond immigrants out of ICE detention. And we also have community members here who march in the streets. I've seen some of you out there. We are marching for Palestine, for environmental justice, for the future of our democracy, and so many things that we hold dear. And we have community members here who pay special visits to the elders in our community in their homes. We have folks who make soup for members who are sick and who give members without cars rides to and from church week after week. And in coffee hour, following the service, many of us mill about, talking and looking into each other's eyes and asking, "How are you doing, really?" It's all these big and small actions, from the protests to the ways that we check in with each other, holding the door open for others passing through, that present us with the opportunity to heal ourselves and others. As Eve Ewing wrote in her poem we read a few minutes ago, all the creative ways our people greet each other may be the icing on this flaming trash cake hurtling through the ether. And so, dear friends, as we move together through the days and weeks ahead, I invite all of us to double down on opportunities for connection and for healing. Sometimes it will be inconvenient or annoying to slow down and check in with someone who needs your help. And sometimes you'll find yourself disappointed by others when they let you down or can't help in the exact ways you want or need. But on the whole, it's pretty much the case that the only way we make it through this wild life together, however long or short, on this beautiful and chaotic flaming trash cake hurtling through the ether, our tiny world in this vast and mysterious universe, is by holding each other close. And so, for all these reasons and more, one more time, together perhaps, we say, we need each other. And so we come to this place to work and dance and laugh and cry and think. We call ourselves a religious community, not because this place is in itself holy ground, but because what we do here and say here and are here make it so. So let it be. Amen. Thank you, friends. Now, invite you all to join together in body or in spirit to rise as you're comfortable in singing our next hymn. It's number 1017 in the Teal hymnal. We are building a new way, and the words will also be projected up here on our screen. Thank you, Nick. That was fun. A kind word or a thoughtful act, like a pebble dropped in the water, sends ripples out into the world. Should you wish to make a promise or let go of one, remember someone or release a bit of pain, forgive yourself or someone else, or otherwise mark some important event or occasion, in a moment we'll invite you to step forward and quietly send your thoughts outward as you drop a pebble into the water, mingling the ripples of your intention with those of others in this community. Please approach from both aisles on the sides at the same time, and as usual, when you're finished, exit through the center aisle. During this quiet time, as the music plays, feel free to come and drop a pebble. I will begin, as always, dropping one pebble for those whom we wish were here with us today, and for all those who wish they were here. May it be so. Amen.
If you are new to our gathering, it is important for you to know that EUUC's weekly offering does not support the ongoing operations of this congregation. We support our congregation by making generous pledges of financial support that we pay month by month or year by year. Our Sunday offering is dedicated to going right out into the world to support organizations doing good works that align with and extend the mission of this congregation, gathering together, nurturing the Spirit, living our vision of a just and sustainable world. The October cause of the month is Washington Immigrant Solidarity Network. WAISN is an immigrant-led organization committed to defending immigrant and refugee communities from deportation while advocating for meaningful systemic change. Their work focuses on both deportation defense and pushing for policies that ensure justice for all Washingtonians. Today, we have a guest speaker, Deborah, who will give us some information about their work. Deborah?
Bom dia, good morning, everyone. It's an honor to be here this morning with you all. And to make sure I keep under 5 minutes, I will read because, I can't free flow and talk for, Brian knows that, don't you, Brian? Hello, I'm Deborah, and I am an immigrant from Brazil who made the courageous decision to move here 11 years ago, leaving my home and deciding that I wanted to move here to seek a better life, to seek healing for myself and for my family. I have the honor to serve the Washington Immigrant Solidarity Network as their development manager. And I want to start by saying thank you for this opportunity to share about our work today. This opportunity is an act of solidarity, and the funds that we're going to be raising this month will definitely help us protect families and strengthen a statewide immigrant-led movement. WISN, which is the short version of Washington Immigrant Solidarity Network, is the largest immigrant-led coalition in our state, working in partnership with 400 or more organizations across 27 counties. We are a rainbow coalition made up of unions, direct services, faith communities, grassroots organizations working to advance, defend, and protect the rights of immigrants and refugees in our state. As some of you might know, Washington State is a border state. And if you are aware of what that means, Customs and Border Patrol have 100 miles jurisdiction from the border. So that's basically the entire Washington that is under that surveillance and pressure. And going back to ground us in the mission of WISN, our mission is anchored by 4 pillars of deportation defense: the hotline, rapid response, accompaniment, and fair fight bond fund. These pillars address and support our communities with the immediate ways in which they are being targeted by immigration enforcement, while we work to organize for long-term systems change through policy and advocacy. In 9 months of this new administration, our deportation defense has received over 9,000 calls Those are not only colors, those are families, those are lives, those are histories, stories. This is more than double of what we received in all 2024, last year. Immigrants are being detained on their way to work, at courthouses, immigration appointments, workplace raids, and their homes. And Wisen is often the first place community members call for support. This is why we have focused on growing our organizing base of accompaniment volunteers to 500 people. These are the volunteers. They are accompanying immigrants to immigration appointments and hearings, so they don't have to navigate those systems alone. This act of solidarity has reduced the number of detentions at immigration court and appointments. Our base of rapid response volunteers has grown to over 3,500 people and covers 22 counties. And we have a couple of volunteers over here, I believe. Yay, Nora. Shout out to Nora, shout out to Brian. These are the people that are activated when a call comes to the to the Wisen Deportation Defense Hotline, reporting sightings of immigration agents in the community or a raid. They get dispatched to a location to ask for judicial warrants, remind community members of their rights, and document any violations to their constitutional and civil rights. Once someone in detention gets a bond approved by an immigration judge, or Fair Fight Bond Fund reunites them with their family. This is the only community-sourced immigration bond fund in Washington, in the Pacific Northwest, and has released 129 individuals from detention since 2017, and paid over $1 million in bonds, ensuring dignity and family support. This is only a glance of what the Wisen Network does. And I want to invite you all to a deeper conversation to learn more about us. I'm going to be sitting outside to answer any questions you might have. And yeah, I would love to share more ways that your contribution this month is strengthening our work to meet this political moment with resilience and hope. So thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Deborah. Thank you for sharing with us this important work that you all do. The funds donated by EUUC will be applied to the Wisen, to their chosen area of need. And as always, thank you for your generous donations. This Sunday cause was nominated by Nora and Rachel. You may donate using the QR code or go to the EUUC website and click Donate. For those of you who are here, there are baskets out in the narthex. You go through the doors, and underneath the screen on the wall, you will see baskets. And now for information about what is happening around and or by EUUC members. Our announcements. Number 1, save the date. Congregation-wide interim ministry startup on October 19th in Chapman Hall and online. Following our service on Sunday, October 19th, from 11:30 to 2:30 p.m., we invite you all to join our fellow congregants, Interim Minister Reverend Natalie Malter and Reverend Sarah Gibb Millspaugh from the UU Pacific Western Regional staff to help kick off our time of interim ministry with important discussions about our congregation's past and future. Through activities, presentations, and group conversations, newcomers as well as old-timers will gain insights into who we are and how we've done things. We'll learn more about our new minister, and she'll learn more about us. Together, we will help EUUC's leadership set priorities and plans for the next 2 years of transitional ministry. Childcare and lunch will be provided. Number 2, volunteer poinsettia coordinator needed. In years past, we have decorated Chapman Hall with beautiful poinsettias for the holiday season. This not only beautifies our facility for the holidays, but it also is a small fundraiser. But this only happens if someone steps up to help organize it. It involves taking orders for the poinsettias, picking them up, and setting them up in Chapman Hall, and/or getting volunteers to help you. After the evening service on Wednesday, December 24th, those that ordered can take the beautiful poinsettias home with them. To volunteer for this, please contact Dan Ford or Nora Thompson. And please, we need a volunteer. We can't give up this beautiful tradition. Number 3, a garden volunteer coordinator needed. Do you want to help with the giving garden, but not get your hands dirty? The giving garden is one of the ways that EUUC helps provide fresh produce for local food banks. To make this happen, we need a volunteer coordinator. If you can help with this, please stop by the social justice desk in the narthex today to learn more about it, or contact us through community engagement at euuc.org. Number 4, Aisha Hauser needs reparation task force, attends reparation task force. Aisha Hauser will be at the Reparations Task Force meeting on Saturday, October 11th from 1 to 2:30 p.m. in the EUUC fireplace. If you're interested in continuing the work we started with the container workshop regarding racial justice reparations and would like to be engaged with the ongoing work of the task force, you are invited to attend the October 11th meeting. Please contact Ginger via Breeze if you have any questions. Number 5, Children's Choir. Next Sunday, October 12th, join us for the start of the Children's Choir rehearsal in Chapman Hall, 15 minutes after the service on the 2nd and 4th Sundays of the month. I know they just love doing this. Number 6, EUUC Drum Circle. The next EUUC Drum Circle is Thursday, October 9th from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. in Chapman Hall. Come have fun making in-the-moment music with others. This month we will learn a fun 2-part rhythm and then move into improvisational music creation. All skill levels are welcome. Bring your own drum or other percussion instruments, and there will be drums and percussion to borrow. Dancing and singing are welcome too. Any questions, reach out to Cindy Olajar via Breeze. Number 7, EUUC Men's Collective. The Men's Collective meets on the 3rd Thursday of the month at 7 p.m. in the fireplace to share our human experience, practice vulnerability, and offer each other support. This collective is welcome to all men and non-binary folks who feel that it is the right place and space for them. Questions? Reach out to David Marlowe via Breeze. Number 8, Books We Love discussion group. This is a different kind of book group. Rather than everyone reading the same book, each person has a chance to talk about a book they recently read and would recommend to others. There are no rules about what types of book to discuss or what to say. We meet on the 3rd Monday of every month at 7 p.m. via Zoom. We'd love to have your recommendations and your perspective. For more information or to register, contact Stephen Conliff, I hope I pronounced that right, through Breeze, or visit the Adult Enrichment page on EUUC website. And happening today on site, number 9, postcards to Green Georgia voters. Sundays, October 5th and 12th from 11:15 to 12 p.m. Come join EUUC's Democracy Action Team as we write to low-propensity Green voters in Georgia ahead of the Public Service Commission's November 4th election. All materials will be provided and no advance registration is necessary. Please contact Elliot Hazard through Breeze for more details. Number 10, Community Engagement Committee makes breakfast burritos for First Sunday. Today's lunch is provided by folks from the Community Engagement Committee. They will be providing the same meal that they prepare for the monthly Neighbors in Need breakfast. You can learn more about the many projects our Community Engagement Committee supports to address hunger, homelessness, and poverty in our local community. Come enjoy a meal and learn how you can be involved. Contact Community Engagement at EUUC for more information. And that is the end of our weekly pulpit announcements. As always, check on the screens in the narthex for other things going on. And finally, we give thanks to all of you who make this Sunday service and all the work of this congregation possible. And now for the releasing of the flame.
Beloveds, please join me in the words printed on our screen as we release the flame of our burning chalice. We release this flame, but not the light of truth. We release this flame, but not the warmth of this community. We release this flame, but not the fire of our commitment. These we will carry in our hearts until we meet again. Friends, as we go out from our time together into this wild and mysterious world, may we remember that our greatest strength is in the way we need each other, in the tender opportunities for healing that we find as we hold hands in the dark. The service begins as the service ends. Go in peace, practice love. Amen.